الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور انفسنا وسيئات اعمالنا انه من يهديه الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. So inshallah within like few minutes we are going to cover what is remaining from this chapter that we have started last week. Chapters is about the Imam and Salah and what actually should be considered in terms of the status of the ma'mumeen, those who are led in Salah. So in general, Imam should consider the status of the ma'mumeen, those who pray behind him. And we mentioned that last time, the hadith that spoke about if you lead Salah, you should consider those who are behind you, who are praying behind you, and to make sure that you don't make it hard for them, especially when you pray Fard Salah. Because Fard Salah, it is actually something obligatory. So when we make it easy for people, that will encourage them to come to pray at the masjid, right? Otherwise, sometimes some imams might, you can say, prolong salah too much, so that would cause people to stop coming to jama'ah. So and the salah in jama'ah is highly recommended, and to the extent that scholars said it's wajib. It's wajib to come to pray in jama'ah, right? Allah said in the Quran, وَارْكَعُوا مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ. Make ruku'ah with those who make ruku'ah. So it means لا تركع وحدك. Don't make ruku'ah alone. Don't make ruku'ah alone, especially of course when we talk about the fard salah. And we mentioned that it's not something wrong if you find yourself able to lead salah among people who cannot, just to do it. Do it yourself if you know that you can make it, right? Because one of the Sahaba, he went to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, ij'alni imama qawmi. He said, Ya Rasulullah, make me an imam for my people, right? He was actually qualified for that. So the Prophet ﷺ, what did he say to him? He said, yes, anta imamuhum. He said, you are their imam. You are their imam, but lead prayer as light as the weakest of them can perform. Right? So you consider the weakest one in salah and in your jama'ah, right? In your masjid. And he said, when you pray alone, you just prolong salah as much as you want, right? When you pray alone, you just have the choice to do it as you like. But if you pray as an imam, just consider those who are led in salah. And we mentioned the hadith of Mu'adh, of course, Mu'adh ibn Jabal anhu, when he was leading salah and he was prolonging salah, and he did it one night. He prolonged his salah, and then the Prophet ﷺ, he advised him, and he said, don't do that. Don't prolong your salah this way, because some people, they are actually praying behind you. They are weak, or they are old, or they have something to do, right? So make it easy for them, right? And we mentioned that last time. And then he said here, of course, we mentioned the hadith of Anas when he said, I never performed a light and perfect salah as I performed behind the Prophet ﷺ. So we said two things should be into consideration: to make it light and to make it perfect. Not only to make it light, and that's it. It means what? To lighten salah to the extent that you don't actually perform it correctly. You don't give time to people to read the Fatiha. You don't give time to them to say tasbih and subhana rabbil azim, right? Some people, they are very quick. So this is not the salah of the Prophet ﷺ. And if you remember the hadith, when a person, he entered the masjid, right? And the Prophet ﷺ, he was sitting with some of his companions. And what did he do, this man? He prayed, like almost, maybe I think he prayed Fard or Sunnah, right? So after he prayed, he went went to the Prophet ﷺ to greet him and he said, Assalamu alaikum. What did he say to him? Alaykum assalam. And he said to him, what? Go back and pray since you haven't prayed. So the man didn't know why. So he went back and he prayed again, same way that he did it first. And then he went back to the Prophet ﷺ again. Assalamu alaikum assalam. Go back and pray, for you haven't prayed yet. So he did it the third time. And the fourth time, when he said to him, go back and pray, he said, Ya Rasulullah, wallahi la a'lam ghayra dhalik. I have no other way to do it. I don't know how to pray other than the way that I have done it. فَعَلِّمْنِي. So teach me.